Hey guys, so today we are going to talk about the skeleton from Minecraft. Skeletons are probably one of the most annoying mobs in the game and probably the scariest in hardcore mode, which is usually why I dig a hole in the ground until day, which is when they burn. They are long-ranged enemies, which makes them kind of difficult to hit. Also in Java Edition, they are literally goated because they can shoot you and run around you right after, making it very hard for you to hit them. Skeletons spawn at low light levels, which is usually 7 and below. You probably know this because they spawn at night and in caves. They also spawn in groups of 4, so they have this whole squad after you, with them to shoot you, and possibly lead you to smashing your keyboard a million times from trying to get your items back. Now you might say I'm bad at Minecraft for using that as an example, but I hope you realize that I am better than Dream and anybody else at Minecraft. I hope you know that. So back on topic, they have a low 1% chance to spawn as a spider jockey, and I think it's a good and cool mob, but I'll talk about it later. They can spawn a skeleton trap, which is also what I'll be talking about later after that. Another way skeletons spawn is in a dungeon, which will let you get good armor in hard mode if you farm it. Also, if you didn't know, they spawn in the nether, but I'm pretty sure you knew that. They spawn in nether fortresses and replace 20% of the wither skeletons sometimes. Also, my favorite place that they spawn in, and the most fitting place, is the soul sand valleys. This is due to the low light levels there. It's very fitting and very annoying because the soul sand makes you a lot slower and they're long-ranged enemies. Skeletons can drop 0 to 2 bones and 0 to 2 arrows, and rarely their bow. I don't like this because they seemingly have an infinite amount of arrows, and they have no infinity enchant on their arrows. This might be some deep lore within Minecraft that MatPat hasn't even covered yet. Also, the amount of arrows and bones increased to 0 to 5 with looting 3, and I think 0 to 3 with looting 1, and 0 to 4 with looting 2. Also, if skeletons spawn with equipment or armor, the chance of dropping it, which is 8.5, increases when you get looting on your sword. Skeletons drop 5 experience points when killed either by you or a tamed wolf. Something really cool that you can get is the skeleton head, and what it does is it makes the detection rate half of what it was, which is 16 blocks for skeletons. It drops from a skeleton that died from a charged creeper explosion. Skeletons start chasing the player when it's in detection range, which I just said was 16 blocks. They are very determined to kill you because they can go through stairs, mazes, ladders, and other difficult things just to get in range to shoot you. They start shooting you in a 15 block range, and they do it while they have a clear line of sight on you. Getting out of that radius in which the skeleton will shoot you causes them to wait with their bow charged and will shoot you when you're in range again. Something that'll help you is knowing that they shoot every second, so you can know when to hold your shield up. The accuracy of the skeletons is dependent on which difficulty setting you are on. This is because skeletons have these things called errors. There are 10 of them on easy because they're bad on easy. There are 6 of them on normal and 2 of them on hard difficulty. Differences between the mobs on Java and Bedrock is that on Java, the skeleton's detection range of players reduces to half, but I don't think it does on Bedrock. Also in Java Edition, skeletons run around the player to dodge attacks and back up if the player is close to them. They also run towards the player if they are 14 blocks away and use bows underwater. However, in Bedrock Edition, skeletons are immune to lightning bolts. They usually stop moving to shoot, which is probably why they're awful. And also, if a skeleton's in water, they use a melee weapon to attack you. Also, if the skeleton's on land and the player's in water, the skeleton will start shooting faster. Something cool about skeletons and all other mobs is that if they get attacked by another mob, they'll only focus on that mob until it's dead, but after that they will go back to killing the player. This is kind of annoying and kind of funny at the same time, because you're basically just saving one mob's life and then they go back to killing you. However, this happens with skeletons more, because since they're long range they can shoot, they have a better chance of shooting other mobs. Another cool thing is that they're spawned with no items, including a bow. They run at the player with their arms out. The last thing I'll say is cool right now is that if they're holding tipped arrows in their hand, they will shoot that kind, When skeletons burn, there are many ways to prevent that from happening, which I don't know why you'd want that though, to be honest. There is placing a block above them. If the light level is low, they'll stop burning. If they have a helmet, but the helmet absorbs the damage and it'll probably break. And also if they're standing on soul sand or if they have fire resistance on, they won't burn. But I don't know why you'd want to waste fire resistance on a skeleton. They also have a 50% chance to shoot a flaming arrow at you when they're burning. They interact with other mobs too. They run away from wolves, shoot iron golems and baby turtles, and also in Bedrock they shoot snow golems, because skeletons are undead. Now this goes for all undead mobs. They gain health from instant damage potions and lose health from instant health potions. They are also immune to poison, and it's good to use smite on them. Skeletons can spawn with gear, and gear never breaks on them, or some have the special ability to pick up gear, and if you kill them, the gear that they picked up is always dropped. They can also spawn with whatever item you want in creative mode if you use some commands to summon them. You get extra XP from skeletons with armor on. Some fun facts about skeletons is that during Halloween, they have pumpkin or jack-o'-lantern heads, which I find kind of cool because it's on Halloween. Also, if a skeleton kills a creeper, the creeper will drop a music disc, which is also cool. You can make creeper traps to trap the creeper. My preferred strategy, and the only good strategy to beat them, is to hit them, and while they shoot you, you use your shield. But I'm pretty sure everyone does that because it's cool. You can also combo skeletons and make them like just not land on the ground, and they won't shoot you because you're doing it in like a short amount of time. I like skeletons because they add challenge to the early game. I also like how good the AI is, even though the complexity of the AI can screw you over most of the time. I also like how they run around the player, and they're probably one of the smartest mobs in the game. Now let's talk about the spider jockey. The spider jockey is, in my opinion, one of the coolest jockey mobs in the game. This is because the swiftness of the spider and the long range that the skeleton can attack you from make for a good foe. However, this video is still about the skeleton. Also, I usually kill the spider first. The mob is cool because it's a close range and long range mob too. It also only has a 1% chance of spawning, but I see them a lot of times. You also probably already knew they had a 1% chance of spawning, because I said it earlier in the video. The spider and the skeleton are still separate and you have to kill each one. There is also no difference in the drops, because the drops are basically the same as what you get after killing a skeleton and a spider. They can also spawn with the status effect in hard difficulty, but spiders can already do that, so it isn't really that surprising. In multiplayer, a spider jockey can attack 2 players by one mob being hit, but the other one not being hit. Also, something really awesome is that if a skeleton on a spider jockey is shot by another skeleton, then it dismounts the spider to fight it. My preferred strategy is to kill the spider first, which I've probably done every time to deal with them, and it's probably because the spider's the biggest mob out of the two, and then I deal with the skeleton how I usually deal with it. I like this mob or jockey or whatever you want to call it a lot because it has the accuracy and long range of the skeleton and the melee attack and the movement of the spider. Now this next variation of skeleton, which is also a jockey that I'm going to talk about, is the skeleton horseman. The skeleton horseman is a variation of skeleton that I haven't even come across yet. They appear on any difficulty and are summoned when you walk within 10 blocks of a skeleton horse trap. Skeleton horses only spawn during thunderstorms by lightning. This skeleton horse is referred to as a skeleton trap horse. After walking within 10 blocks of it, it'll then get struck by lightning, and then it turns into a skeleton horseman. The skeleton on the horse has an enchanted bow and an enchanted helmet. This mob has the same behavior as the skeleton, but is much faster due to riding a horse. 2 fun facts about this mob are that when a name tag is put on it, it is only put on the skeleton, and the effects of special names only affect the skeleton. Also, they were one of the 2 mobs added in 1.9, the second being the shulker, which is one of my favorite mobs of all time. Well, that's stuff about the skeleton. This is the end of the video. Make sure to like and subscribe, or a skeleton will shoot you with arrows. Goodbye.